Guys, the Football World Cup is right around the corner. And it's the hottest ticket in town. I always wanted to use that phrase, and I'm really glad that the time has arrived. So with everybody excited about the World Cup, I have some quite astounding news for those with tickets. If you're planning to head to the FIFA World Cup 2022, but can't seem to get accommodation because most of the places are completely sold out, don't you worry. Why? Because Brightsun Travel has teamed up with the Saudi Tourism Authority to help you stay in Saudi Arabia during the World Cup and commute to Doha. Now, Saudi, I hear you ask, but the World Cup is in Doha. I'm glad you asked. Well, Saudi is just over an hour flight to Doha, about the same as an average daily commute. I bet you didn't know that. And so what you can do is you can stay in Saudi Arabia, explore Saudi Arabia, enjoy Saudi Arabia with all the amazing things you can do there. And then for match day, head over to Doha on a quick commute and watch the match and then come back. And Brightsun, they're making it easy for you. You can look at affordable packages by going to btpilgrimages.com/football or click the link in the description. Now, Brightsun Travel also do Umrah packages. And if, for example, you want to go to Umrah but you don't have a group to go with, then Brightsun Travel can connect you and help you go with a group that's already going. Now, what are the advantages of going with the group, I hear you ask? Well, first of all, you can get a more affordable package, and often that's with more comfort. And also you can meet some other individuals who are on the same trip as you, a life-changing trip, I might add. So if you're interested in that, just call 0203 411 5020, or if you're an internet guy, then you can email groups@brightsun.co.uk. Brightsun can also advise you on visa requirements, COVID requirements, and so on and so forth, so you can just be at ease. Brightsun are also giving Freshly Grounded listeners special curated officers? No, sir. Sir, I'm going to need you to step down. Offers, where you can go to Saudi, go to World Cup, and also enjoy many of the other things that you could do. For example, in Saudi, they can kind of curate a package for you. And that is all at Brightsun. And guess what? They're throwing in free airport transfers just for us, the tribe. If you're interested in booking accommodation for the World Cup and or booking a trip to Saudi, you can visit btpilgrimages.com/football. That's Bravo. Let's test it now, because you're testing me. What? Oh, you think I studied criminology and learnt my phonetic alphabet? Is that what it's called? You think I don't know my Alpha, Bravo, Romeo? You gonna test me? If you're interested, go to Bravo, Tango, I don't know, Peter, India, Lima, Golf, Romeo, India, Mike, Alpha, Golf, Echo, Sierra.com/Foxtrot, Oscar, Tango, Bravo, Alpha, Lima. Yeah? Now let's get to the episode. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Freshly Grounded. It is myself, Big Face, and of course,
Kaya.
No, what did we say that time?
I'm not going to be called... was it Unks?
Unk, yeah.
I'm not going to be called Unks, bro. Just call me Kaya, man.
All right, we're with Kaya. And Kaya, what are we talking about this episode?
Right, so, we've spoken many times before about how much we love living in Dubai. We think it's an amazing place, especially for Muslims living in the West to consider. And so you put out a Instagram post saying, if you've got any questions about cost of living, that kind of thing, then we'll answer it. And that's what we did. Yeah, so we were quite technical. I think we were thinking we could just answer all the questions about Dubai, but we had a time limit because it's Maghrib now-ish, so we have to go. So we end up just speaking about the cost of living. And basically, when I put out my video initially, I think some of the criticism was you weren't specific enough. So we gave actual figures of how much we pay for bills and stuff here. I think there's a few things worth noting. One of them is, generally speaking, your income is going to probably be, if you move to Dubai, your income in Dubai is probably going to be better and more than your income in the UK. And far less tax, of course. There's no income tax.
Yeah, so that's something worth noting. So and we didn't go into the benefits that we many times in the podcast we spoke about what we think the benefits are of living here in Dubai, in the UAE, and we didn't. In today's episode, we kind of just went into the specifics of the data and what we pay for certain things, but maybe we could do another episode on it, because I think both of us are so strong on the fact that where I live now, I'm 5-minute walk from 2 different masajid, which is amazing. So you get all your salah in the masjid a lot easier. The weather is beautiful. it's Muslim country, and so like you don't feel like a guest in your religion. Like you just give salams to people and stuff like that. And I think like we've spoken numerous times about services, like coffee shops, restaurants and stuff. There's a very amazing level of service here.
Yes. I think in short, Dubai is a beautiful, amazing place to live. But I think a lot of people who don't live here have that question of like, how much is it actually cost, like the nitty gritty cost of living here?
Yeah.
And that's what this video is.
Yes.
Yeah.
With that being said, enjoy this episode.
And welcome to Freshly Grounded, the brand new podcast.
Well, it's not exactly brand new anymore, is it?
Welcome to Freshly Grounded, the podcast.
That's better.
Created by best friends Faisal and Sam.
Huh?
I said welcome to Freshly Grounded.
After that bit.
Created by
After that bit.
best friends Faisal and Sam.
Really?
I'm just going to start this episode by saying that today, my youngest son, Khalil, learned how to climb out of his cot.
Okay.
So he didn't nap today because he just climbed out.
Allahumma barik.
So now...
That's a milestone, isn't it?
Well, tonight's the first night. Obviously, he's going to go sleep in knowing that he can climb out. So I don't know how we're going to manage that.
It's easy,
now.
mate. You just, on top of the thing, you just put Vaseline, slip right off, slip back into his bed.
That could end up really bad, though. Like,
Don't do that.
It was like 50%
That's not,
gone.
that is
Yeah.
not advice, genuine advice, though. Don't do that.
Yeah, so we're going to have to upgrade him now. So
Yeah, Allahumma barik. That's good, man.
It's going to come out of Dad's wallet.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So do you want to intro this episode? Like what we're going to do?
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of like a follow-up on your... Was it on your channel you released it, where it's like why you moved to Dubai or how you moved to Dubai? And you did like a Q&A, didn't you, kind of thing? And there was some people commenting saying you didn't quite go deep enough and they wanted a little bit more information.
Yeah, I mean, let's not be around. Some people are like, I just watched 30 minutes of being told nothing.
Basically, it was a total waste of time.
Yeah, exactly.
A total waste of time. So we're going to try and remedy that.
We're going to try to better it.
Yeah.
I think in my defense, like, I find it very hard to be specific.
Same.
And I think the reason I find it hard to be specific is because of two things. One, Ayn.
Yeah.
And like, for example, I think one of the criticisms was like, you didn't tell us even like how much you paid for the visa and stuff. And today I'm gonna I'll find the message, but it's something like $5,000. And I think like one end is like Ayn, like, I know $5,000 is not a lot of money necessarily, but at the same time, it's like, oh, he just paid $5,000 for a visa. I don't know why, because I don't know who's watching. Do you know what I mean?
We've had this discussion before on a previous episode about like how much should we, how transparent should we be?
Yeah.
And again, I would reiterate that we should probably be less transparent on that side, less transparent.
But I think for this episode we have to be super transparent.
We're a little bit transparent.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll try
because
to...
there's a bigger benefit for the...
Of course.
For the Ummah, I think, as well.
Definitely there is. And I think... But we will say at this point that, not everything we're going to say is necessarily from our experience. We know a lot of brothers who have moved here. I know different stories and different price points. So
I think we should be super specific though.
Fine.
Even
okay.
I think I'm just scared now with the mob that came off.
Now I'm nervous.
And then the second reason is because something feels wrong like about being like so specific that like all of a sudden you like laid all your cards out it feels vulnerable.
It's not natural. It doesn't come natural to me.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like say everything to everyone, but like that's like people who I'm close to. Do you know what I mean?
No, doing it on camera in front of trillions is a different thing.
Trillions, exactly.
Yeah.
And like you see those people like Ali Abdal, Sam Parr, people like that, who like will just like talk about their salaries and stuff openly. It's like wow.
Yeah. Again, like we've got to consider things like Ayn and stuff like that, and try and be careful because you don't know who's watching, quite frankly, and we love our audience, but sometimes it's not just our audience who are watching.
Yeah, but we're gonna try this time and be specific.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you were basically saying, that video came out. We're gonna try and do it.
You got questions right from Instagram?
I do. Yeah. So let's get straight into it because we've only got 45 minutes now.
Okay.
So they're probably just gonna be random, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, we should give some context. To give context, I moved out here to Dubai. If you haven't seen the video, I moved out here. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome, because people might be clicking this podcast just because of the title. This is Freshly Grounded, a podcast where we try and either showcase Muslims who are doing kind of like groundbreaking things. We're just kind of like championing Muslims, and also just every now and again, pretty much most weeks, just two of us having a natter, and hopefully all of the natter is productive and halal at the same time, which is
Inshallah.
two things that go well, really well together. Okay, so Kaya moved here. I'll let you do your own intro, but I moved here 6 months ago, and I can go into a bit about why I moved here. Kaya, you moved here
Beginning of 2020, 2 months before COVID hit.
Yeah, so he was here, you were here BC before COVID.
Yeah.
And I was here DC during COVID.
Yes.
And also you are, that's our juice.
Oh,
Shall I go grab it?
Oh, you've got to go grab the juice.
Go intro like,
Fine.
who you came with and stuff like that.
Fine.
It's important context, isn't it?
When you say who I came with, you want me to go like the agents and stuff like that, and I'll go deeper to that? Or
No,
not?
as in, you come in with your wife and your
Oh, right, yeah, of
child
course, fine.
and, like,
Yeah, that's fine. You leave me alone to do it, mate. No problem. Okay, so beginning of 2020, I came with my wife and my, at the time, young daughter, 4-month-old daughter. And obviously 3 months before COVID, by the time we actually got settled, COVID hit, and then we were in lockdown for a little bit. So it's a little bit of a difficult transition from that perspective. But yeah, alhamdulillah, the UAE government really handled COVID pretty well. So I think other countries had it worse. The UK lockdowns were worse, for example. So yeah, and I think that's Faisal coming right on time with no juice.
Yeah. So, first of all, it's always weird when you wear a hoodie with a thong because it looks like you're wearing a skirt. Secondly, did you hear the door?
I didn't, to be honest. I thought your ear was trained, but apparently not.
No, apparently there's no one at the door.
You've only been here 6 months.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So I'm not used to doorbells yet.
Yeah.
Okay, did you intro yourself?
Yeah, I just said that. I won't repeat it, but I basically said that we come beginning of 2020, COVID hit. I come with my wife and my
So
daughter.
you were just
I repeat myself
exactly.
for the third time.
And you have business out here.
I have a business out here. I think you were faster than I thought. I've got a business out here. And we'll get into that, like how you can set things up. I set it up as a free zone company, which gives me a visa and allows me to sponsor dependents. So in this case, it will be my wife and my child.
I think that's a good place to start, actually. So there's two types of businesses. There's two types of ways businesses you can start. There's loads, probably more, but like what's readily available is two types. There's free zone business, and then there's a mainland business. And from what I know, free zone business essentially means that you can work. You can essentially have a business in Dubai, get all the benefits of having a business in Dubai, but you don't do business directly with other businesses in Dubai or in mainland Dubai.
Yeah.
You can only do businesses with, I think, like free zone companies and maybe international, right?
Correct, yeah.
And mainland licenses, like let's say, for example, if you want to set up a barbershop here or stuff like that, like you'd have to have a mainland license.
Yeah.
And there's certain, for each industry, it's good to know this, like research the specifics of what's required, because I think for some industries you might need a sponsor. For a lot of industries you don't now, but that's something worth considering.
Yeah, the vast majority you don't need a sponsor anymore, as in like a local national to like be on the sort of board of directors with you. I think that's mostly gone for like 90% of industries. But yeah, you can also do freelance visa now. So if you don't want to just have a company, you want to do like freelancing, then you can do that, and the cost is slightly less as well.
I think for freelance visa you might have to prove, it's worth looking into, because I think you might have to prove, like when I was first looking into the different ways of moving here, one of the websites I saw was like, like freelance.
Go freelance?
.ae. And I think it mentioned that you might have to like prove all of these different things, like
residence and stuff already, yeah?
No, I think you have to prove 3,000 pounds or dollars worth of income per month. You have to prove. I think it's just like a lot of documents, because you're going through essentially like a system. Whereas like if you set up your own business, you're kind of more in control of that.
Yeah.
I guess. But then there's like loads of benefits to the freelance thing. So it all depends on like what you're after specifically.
Yeah, and there's basically options that you need to Google, and UAE is it's a fast moving place. Things change a lot, because just like the evolution is like you can see the evolution happening in front of your eyes almost. So things change. So by the time you watch this, if it's been like just 3 months, 6 months, things may have changed in the sense that things could have got cheaper. For example, like the visa could have got cheaper, or there may be a new type of visa out. That happens quite often. So
yeah, it does,
the point, I think the overarching
there
point,
is actually a new type of visa.
There is. There's a few new ones, and so like it's difficult for us to go through them.
Yeah.
But the main point is there's a lot of visa types, and they're not. It's not as expensive as you think, especially if you're from London and dealing with London sort of cost of living.
Yeah. So obviously what we know about is a free zone business, because both of us have free zone businesses. My business is in kind of branding and marketing consultancy, and Kaya's is in copywriting and marketing, like generally for SaaS businesses. If that interests you, turn this podcast off.
Link in the description.
Okay, let's get into the questions. So we've kind of introduced ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through the specific questions first, because there are some questions like how long did it take to adjust, and they're kind of like, you could just go on about that. So we will get to them if we get time, but I think like they're really like
the technical questions.
We'll go into the technical questions. So
this is so exciting.
Specifics of the cost used to open a business that give you a visa. That's perfect.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah. So should I just? I'll very briefly touch on that. Yeah. Should I do that?
Yeah, please. I'm gonna find out exactly how much I paid my agent.
Yeah, you do that. That's good. And we're gonna give sort of, we're not give exact specifics, because one, I did mine like over 2 years ago. Prices change. It kind of depends on the free zone. So I'm trying to give you ballpark figures.
I can find exactly how much I paid.
Okay, yeah, you do that then.
Because it was quite recent.
Yeah, you do that then. But so what I'll do a general thing. We'll see like if yours was like sort of close to that. So when I came in 2020, and again, you've got to factor in the fact that the pound has dropped in a lot of value. So it's kind of different. I paid around £4,000 for the business setup, which is like a yearly fee you have to pay. And then it was around £1,500 for the visas, myself and 2 dependent visas. So you can work out what that is in total. And and those visas at the time were 3 years. I think now they're 2 years, but at the time I paid for 3 years. So it kind of worked out to £500 a year each for visas. So yeah, what you can sort of take from that is, if you're a business owner in the UK, in London, or UK in general, I guess, or in the West, if your company is earning something around £30,000 a year, then at that point it becomes, almost a no-brainer to come here, because the taxes you're paying, those costs I just mentioned, are less than the taxes you're paying, and that's before you factor in a high living cost in London. So if you're around the 30,000 mark or anywhere above that annual revenue, I'm not talking about sort of take home here, I'm talking about company revenue, then it's time to start thinking about, purely from a financial perspective, we put, the benefits of making hijrah is a whole new topic that we can discuss maybe in another episode. But we're talking like mainly financial and like from a technical perspective here. At that point, you need to start thinking, okay, moving to Dubai will financially benefit me, and you can figure out, the exact numbers, but that's a pretty good sort of yardstick. So
I'm looking at, so there's different types of visa packages that you can get, and there's also a different price. As Kaya mentioned, there's different the prices range. With either the visa agent that you used, and then secondly which by the way, I'm going to put my visa agent in the description of this video, because I've had no issues with him. He's a Muslim guy, like super honest, and like they were so helpful. Like anytime when my Emirates ID was made, they deliver it to my house. My wife's one delivered to the house, kids one delivered to the house. If there's any issues with any of the documents, they like sort it out instant. So I've had a really good experience with him. And also I said that I'm going to send people his way, and so he's going to nice me with a little drink on top, so why not? Okay, so I've only found, so I'm looking for my documents right now, my old messages. So first of all, I found some quotes, because initially I was going to go for a 2 visa package for business, and this is something that's really interesting and worth noting, is that when you are looking, do your research, because I thought I have to get 2 visa business, because like I didn't understand like what that meant. I thought it meant like as in I'm moving here and I'm obviously moving my wife here, but that's not what it means. You don't get a visa for your wife under your business unless she's working for your business. Yeah. Bear in mind, guys, you do want to do everything as honest as you do everything honestly here, because you probably get found out. And secondly, living here is great, and when you live here, you have to stick to the rules. Yeah. And that's very important. So there's no way of doing this that we would recommend that's like a cheat way of doing it. Like you have to actually have a business. You have to actually want to make money in that business and like use that money here and stuff like that. So we're definitely not condoning any kind of like
anything illegal
backdoors or anything illegal.
Weird, yeah.
But anyway, I thought I needed a 2 visa company, which it turns out I didn't, because I just need to have a 1 visa company, because I'm the only person working for the company at the moment. Yeah. And then once you have a visa here, as a man, you can sponsor your dependents,
Yes.
my wife and kids.
Yep.
But when initially I was being quoted for a 2 visa company at the time, the total was like around 24,000 dirhams, which works out to.
I'll handle that.
Okay, fine.
I've got the app already. But again, like the pound is.
Yeah, it's
Even-
changed.
even since
yeah,
then,
it'll be
like-
it'll be more expensive now,
we're more
definitely.
So now that would be £5,800, but probably what you paid is closer to like 4,000, like me.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
ended up getting a 1 visa company, by the way.
Yeah, there you
so
go.
I didn't even pay that
Fine.
much. So I can't find exactly how much I paid, but because that's not in the docs, I don't know why. Maybe we spoke about that over.
Yeah, but
calls.
again, like if you went for the one visa, that would have brought the cost down. Plus the fact the pound was a little bit stronger back then. You probably paid similar to what I paid, like just over 4,000, something like that.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, I can't find the exact amount. If I do find it, I'll let you guys know. But that gives you an idea. So, like, roughly, like, it's a good idea to, like, set up the business and get your visa and all of that, like, combined, because that includes, like, everything, like, setting up the business, your visa, sorting out your documents, sending your documents to the government and all that kind of stuff, translating your documents. All that is roughly about $5,000.
Yeah.
So that's a good
Give or
like
take.
ballpark figure to,
Yeah, it is.
to know about.
Yes.
But then that is not the only cost. Your costs do go up a lot because that's like setting everything up. But then obviously when you move here, there's a whole bunch of costs with like, for example, electricity, gas and stuff like that. So what I found is that gas here, I think I've only ever topped up 6 months ago when I moved here. I put like, I think £20 in my gas meter.
Okay.
And I've never topped it up since.
Do you use gas? Though? I don't use gas.
Do you have an electric cooker, right?
Yeah.
I do have a gas.
Yeah, I've never used gas here.
I would recommend you get a gas. I would recommend you get an electric cooker. To be fair,
Yeah, so would
because
I.
you don't even need gas.
And I think like in my community, for example, gas isn't even allowed.
Fine.
Yeah.
So I use a gas cooker and it's fine.
Yeah.
But gas is so cheap. Like I've only put in £20 6 months ago, and
Yeah.
I've not even checked it. But like I remember checking it after like 2 months, and it'd gone down by like 20p.
This kind of brings us to the next point, which is like cost of living, right? Maybe.
Fine.
Or should we do that?
No, let's do that after then.
Yeah.
Fine. I guess I was saying like things do add up, but like
Yeah.
I'm conscious that we might have to either carry this episode on. Like
We could do. Yeah, we could do.
I think we'll have to do a part 2 because we have to finish this episode
Yeah.
today. So if people want, we can do.
Let's
part
go.
2.
Let's go through this and see how we get.
All right, so
Okay.
that's the specifics on the cost of opening a business that gives you a visa. The healthcare is a big question. So I think healthcare we can't tackle.
Yeah.
It's such a big question.
It is a big question.
And then there's like loads of different elements to it. So I don't think it's possible. Here's what I'll say about healthcare. I know we were meant to be specific, but healthcare is a really tough one to be specific on. The general view is if you're coming here and you're employed by someone, I think like they have to give you healthcare.
It's included in your package,
It's included in
and you
the
don't have to
package.
worry about it.
Yeah, so you could just not worry
Yeah.
about it at all.
If you're sponsoring
I'm just
yourself,
repeating what you're saying. If you're sponsoring yourself,
yeah. I didn't even follow what you just said. Sorry, what was that?
no, I was just copying what you were saying.
Fine.
I think if you're sponsoring yourself, like again, I think it's included in your visa costs.
It's including your visa costs.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and if you're sponsoring so not if you're sponsoring yourself, if you're being sponsored,
Okay,
but if you're sponsoring yourself, you've got to handle it yourself.
you got to handle everything yourself.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
And that's where we'll leave it at.
Yeah.
With healthcare, we're not going to get specific.
Yes.
Okay. This question says living costs like water, electricity, internet. So that's a good question.
Yeah. So
We can re-dive into that.
compared to London, like it's so much cheaper. Right?
That's not entirely true.
Talk to me.
It depends on what. So I think let's categorize it in. I'm going to write this down. We'll
Mhm.
say number 1, water.
Okay.
Number 2, electricity. Number 3, gas.
Mhm.
Number 4, petrol.
Right.
Number 5, and we'll go down to each one of
Yep.
these. Number 5, internet.
Okay. Fine.
I'll say internet and data.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting you in.
Okay. There you go.
Number 6, should we say the cost of a house? House costs?
Yeah. Rent and
Rent and buying.
Yeah. Rent buying. Did you mention petrol?
Yeah, and petrol.
Yeah,
and then
that's-
car.
Yeah. Car. Yeah.
So this might be like, I don't know, this might be somewhat scary, like because some of these prices are higher, some of them are way lower than what we're used to from London. But also, we haven't spoken about the income yet, and income tends to be higher here. So that's something I was mentioning as well. Okay, so water. I don't have much experience with water, so you might as well tell me. I'm just renting a place, and I think it's included.
Right. So I'll give you I've got my bill from last month here, right, from September.
Okay.
And so this is, considering September is technically a summer month, so we use more water for like watering the plants, and we also use more AC, right? So the bills are generally higher in summer months. So I paid 860 dirhams, right? Which compared to pounds, again, a pound is kind of in the
Water?
toilet. No, total. That's water, electricity. I'm going to break it down in a second.
So is water, electricity DIWA?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So
How much you pay?
860. So
That's
current,
really good.
yeah, £208 for my September bill.
Mate, I'm paying way more than that.
I don't know, but yeah, that's what. So basically, electricity.
Is your AC and your electricity?
Yes, it's included. My electricity was 558, and my water was 245. Right. So to break it down, 245.
Oh,
for
I do
water.
pay for water. Sorry. How much? Sorry, I've got the breakdown. My DIWA now.
Okay, so for water in September last month, I paid 245 dirham, which is £59.
I paid 134 dirham.
Nice. That's
which
better than me.
was, which is £32.
Yeah. So I mean, in London, from what I remember, like years back, my lowest water bill was like 60 quid.
Okay.
Or something like. Oh, maybe it's like electric. I'm not even sure.
Fine.
Electricity 558.
Fine.
So
My electricity is 517.
nice.
That's good to know. So exact
Yeah, so-
by the way, we both live in houses.
Yes.
Because we have kids and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
2-bedroom house, 3-bedroom house. I think was what. Yeah.
yeah, and
So sizable houses.
also so in an apartment it'll be cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay.
In an apartment, because like you've got less AC, like it needs less electricity to cool it down, basically.
Fine.
So yeah, that's basically it. But
I also pay sewerage charges.
yeah, so I pay the same. So in the UK, obviously, you've got council tax.
Yeah.
Here, if you're renting, it's not council tax. There's like municipality charges,
Yep.
which is just sewerage. So just cover sewerage, which is 57 dirhams a month, which is what I paid.
So I pay municipality, but I pay like 437 dirhams, and I think that's like a council tax almost. It's £100
Yeah.
a month.
So because if someone who's renting and someone who owns, they pay slightly different things, because someone who owns pays service charges for their
Fine.
community.
Okay.
So it's basically sort of charged differently.
Fine.
But yeah, if you're going to be renting, then it's 57. It's like, which is like what, £12 a month.
Yeah. So electricity charges, actually, it's worth noting that they're quite a bit. So that in total, so that's water, municipality, sewerage, and electricity in total. I paid last month 1,104 dirhams.
Okay.
So
Mine was 860.
fine. So it's roughly 1,000 dirhams, which is £240. So
Yes.
that is quite hefty. But
But not compared to London, right? From what I'm hearing.
I don't know, man.
I mean, you're telling me it was like
That's everything in a house basically done, isn't it? So that's
Yeah.
quite good.
Yeah, it's like
So outside of your rent.
I'm hearing electricity in London is like 250 by itself now.
Oh, okay, fine. So outside of rent, my only house bill is £240.
Yeah, and that covers. It doesn't cover your Wi-Fi though, but yeah, it covers.
That
like,
doesn't cover my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but it covers like the utilities basically. Utilities.
Yeah, all utility bills come up to 240
Yeah.
quid.
Yeah,
Um,
and that includes council tax,
yeah, that includes.
which is a big.
That's
and again,
a very good
bro,
point.
Bro,
That's a very, very good point.
Council tax in London's like £200 a month.
Yeah, in London I was paying £135 council tax. I was paying about on a winter month I was paying £90 in heating.
Yeah.
So that's already 230.
That's what I'm saying. Like this is
Then
a
I was
much.
paying electric. Yeah, you're right.
And you probably didn't have 3 bedrooms, I imagine either.
Nah,
So there you go.
it's a small flat.
Yeah.
Okay. Internet and data internet and data is expensive here.
Yes.
So as in compared to what
Compared
we
to,
used to.
compared to London, yeah.
Because in London, I'll pay for a SIM like you could probably get like unlimited data for like £10 a month on a SIM. Here I paid like I think £500 for the year.
Yeah, something like that.
So that would work out to £41 a month. So I noticed that difference there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think data and Wi-Fi here is more expensive.
And Wi-Fi I paid in the UK like £25 a month, and here I paid like £100 a month.
Yeah, here the Wi-Fi.
It's fast here, very fast.
It is, right. Yeah, get 5G. Is
The
good.
small,
for that.
the lowest Wi-Fi you can get, even Wi-Fi, is like
250 or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's like I can do my speed test now actually.
Does your 5G reach here into this room?
So I don't have 5G. I have proper Wi-Fi because there's like 2 options you can get. Do you know that? You can get like 5G, which is like basically having a dongle in your house, or you can get an actual Wi-Fi.
I've got
And
actual
most
Wi-Fi.
people get the dongle thing.
I haven't got a dongle. Mine is actual Wi-Fi, but it's got the normal,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and it's got 5G. What's happened? AC gone off?
Yeah. Maybe it's on the timer. That's fine though, as long as the camera didn't go off.
No, it's not gone off. It's changed modes. It must be on like auto mode because it's still going.
Anyway, what was I checking?
Wi-Fi bills.
No, you're right. Sorry, there's 5G and 2G. You're right.
Yeah,
No, you're
yeah.
right. No,
So-
because some people, I thought what you meant is because some people have like internet data, and they put
yeah,
that SIM into
no.
They put that SIM into their like house.
Yeah,
and then
no.
it like,
Is that even a thing here?
Essentially, yeah, some people do that.
Okay, fine.
That was like the first option that I was told.
All right, fine. That's weird. But
so, what were we saying about that?
Do you want to share a cost of that?
Test.
I'll speak. Yeah, you do a speed test. Another interesting thing is like, just on a side note, there's an app called Dubai Now app.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's amazing, which has all your bills in it. Your car is like all your car sort of fines are in there.
You can like message the police from there.
You can message the police from there. You can find out your housing situation from there. You can apply for a visa from here.
You can pay your sadaqah and your zakat.
You can pay your sadaqah and zakat from here. You can find out your prayer times in here, the local mosque, where the closest mosque is, and it's all government run and stuff, so it's all sort of centralized.
It's really cool. If you live here, you have to get the Dubai Now app.
Yeah.
So I pay my electricity bill and stuff on the Dubai Now app. You literally just pay with Apple Pay with your Face ID.
So good.
Everything, like paying bills here is so much easier.
Yeah, it is.
There's no letters, like no like you just everything. You just get a notification on your phone. Cool, Apple Pay, done.
Yeah.
You just pay with whatever card you have. Okay, my speed test is coming up a bit slow, so I'm not gonna publicize these figures.
Yeah.
But I don't know why.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, but basically, generally you get like 200 up and down, 200 down and 100 up.
My 5G is just like it doesn't reach very far to 5G, but
Yeah, that's one thing.
when you are close to it, it's like mad. I've never had speed like that.
Yeah, I think like the houses here are made of like cement or something,
I
like
don't
so
know.
that the walls are quite thick.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next category then. So we've done water, electricity, gas,
What's
internet data, petrol.
Yeah.
So petrol, if you're from the UK, petrol here is substantially cheaper.
Yeah.
But I think like people are saying here now there's a bit of a rise. But if you're from London, you don't feel it.
The thing is like the people complain it was a rise who have been here for many years, and like here it was high, and it's gone last 2 months it's gone down again. But even at its peak, people were like going crazy, and I was like, it's still like less than half of London.
Yeah, so
I was like, I'm fine.
In the UK, I drive a Vauxhall Astra.
Yeah.
And I was paying about £70 for a full tank. Here, I'm driving a Toyota Yaris, like not the hatchback version, but like the full sedan version. And I pay about £22 for a full tank.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to find out what the latest petrol price was.
Hey guys, just want to pause the discussion for a second to say a quick thank you to our partner for this episode, Brightsun Travel. Here's some great news for those of you wanting to travel to FIFA World Cup 2022 or have already got tickets for the FIFA World Cup 2022 but are struggling to get accommodation due to a lot of it being sold out. Brightsun Travel have teamed up with the Saudi Tourism Authority to help you stay in Saudi during the World Cup. Now you might be thinking, how am I going to stay in Saudi when the World Cup is in Doha? Well, did you know that the commute from Saudi to Doha is just over an hour? Like a regular commute, basically. Head over to btpilgrimages.com/football. That's btpilgrimages.com/football, or click the link in the description. Now let's get back to the episode.
Starting October, free dirhams and free fills, yeah? That's for like petrol. So UK terms, 3.3, 0.3. Made the ads are killing me today.
So essentially petrol cheaper. We should probably speed through this because we've got 20 minutes.
You go. Yeah. For context, it's 73 pence. And again, considering the pound has gone down, it would usually be like less than that. So 73p a litre.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so
fine.
and it's it's not the lowest it's ever been either. You can go lower than that.
Okay, the next category is rental and buying. So this is a really interesting one because it is a huge fluctuation.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. If you're from London, if you're from London, you'll be used to paying. And by the way, if you're renting privately, right? So I was renting privately in London. I had a 2-bedroom flat, and it cost me £1,300 a month, which is expensive if you're like from anywhere outside London. You're like, that's absurd, because I know that you can get like, I was looking at prices in like Leicester and stuff. At the time, a few years ago, I was looking like, you could have got an apartment for like £600 a month or something, I think. So like, it is absurd. But if you're from London and you're used to London prices, you can get like luxurious apartments and houses in really nice areas for the same price you pay in London.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to pay way less, you can get beautiful, lovely apartments and houses in Dubai still for substantially less. So here's an example. When I first moved here, one of the places I was considering moving to was a place called Al Warqa. which is really lovely area. It's like quite Islamic, but it's where all like the locals are mostly. And so if you're like expat and you want to be around expats, it's not the best area to go for that. And there you were finding apartments. I remember finding a really nice apartment, I think a 2-bedroom apartment that was £5,000 for the year.
Yeah.
So that's quite normal. So you could pay £5,000 for the year. And a good thing to do is go to something like propertyfinder.ae.
Yeah.
And you can find, the norm here is to pay yearly.
Yeah.
Or you could probably like whittle it down at most to paying once every 3 months.
I think the norm is actually paying once every 3 months, but you can pay it yearly and like get a bit of a discount. But
I pay once every 3 months.
Yeah, I think that is normal.
But I think the like landlords prefer.
They prefer it would, but it is normal to do for every 3 months.
Fine.
But yeah, so to bring context, rent has gone up a little bit since you were looking. But the context, if it was £5,000 a year, it's £416 a month.
Yeah.
For 2-bedroom, was it?
A 2-bedroom, really nice apartment.
That's mad.
Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah. But you could. But if you want like an area, so if you're from London and you want an area that's like.
So yeah, one thing, one principle to know about Dubai is that with London is a very narrow like scope of cost of living, right? You can't really go below a certain point in London. If you're going to eat out, if you're going to rent, there's a bottom that you can't really go past. In Dubai, that it's much more broad. You could rent for £400, £415 a month, or you can rent for like £40,000 a month, right? It's a massive scope, and it depends on your budget. Yeah. But the point is, if you really want to come and be frugal, you can rent for like £400-500 a month, and you wouldn't be living like a bad life. So
there's areas that are like. There's an area called Nasma Residences in Sharjah, for example, which has got really nice big villas, which are like 3-bedroom villas and stuff like that. And I think like the rent on those is about £2,000 a month, which is equivalent of rent you'd pay for a house in London, in my area anyway, like West London, like a bit out of central. But what you get for £2,000 a month here is phenomenal compared to what you'd get for £2,000 a month there. Like you'd get a house that has a 2-car driveway, a garden. It's a villa. They call it 3-bedroom villa, but actually it's 4 because there's a maid's room. So it's actually a 4-bedroom house, like open plan, kitchen and living room, dining area. You'd get like here the standard is if you got like 4, however many bedrooms you got, you'll have like that plus 1 more bathroom. So if it's like a 4-bedroom house, you have like 5 bedroom. If it's like a 4-bedroom house, you tend to have like 5 bathrooms.
Yeah, sometimes
stuff like that.
Yeah, basically your money goes a lot further with like with housing, and again like the price of the water, electricity for that is going to be less in London. So your money goes a lot further. I think we've said that.
So that's renting. Buying, you can it's also just as equally. It's a big range as well. So you can buy like a studio / 1-bedroom flat, a nice one, for maybe £60,000 or £70,000. Is that all right?
Let me just check that, because again the pound is just mad right now. 60, let's say, you could 60-61. You could get a nice
buy a studio flat.
Yeah.
And in house, I don't have any idea, but I think it'll be like.
And you could go lower than that, by the way. Like that's what we consider as London as nice. You could go lower, and like there are places where it's like you could grab something for 55, and it's like
Which are what, £12,000 for the £12,000, 55 grand.
No,
sorry, £55,000. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking in dirhams for a second.
Yeah, dirham. So like in fact less, bro. 50. £1,000. £1,000 for a studio in a place that we would not consider to be luxurious, but not horrible. And again, I'd rather live in that place in certain parts of London as well, to be fair. So you could. Bear in mind, when you can take into consideration that every part of Dubai is very safe. There's no part of Dubai that's like the equivalent of a Brixton. Doesn't really exist. Like there's certain parts that are more luxurious than others, but every part is safe, mashallah. And even those places that are cheap, they're still good, and there's still like convenience everywhere. So,
or like Tottenham, where you come from. Yeah, just saying, because you're obviously like now starting to think.
Don't make me out too much.
You're just starting to think, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, come on.
But
who could be watching?
Nate is from Brixton, so he wouldn't be happy about that.
I've never been to Brixton, so...
It's actually lovely.
Is it?
Yeah.
You down there often?
No, I've only been there about twice.
What are you doing down there?
So let's get back on track. Let's see. Where we're at now. Car. Oh no! Sorry, we said. But what about buying a house? Like, let's say you're buying a 3-bedroom house.
Again, like
I don't know anything
compared to London. I know London prices. I don't know. Again, like Newcastle could be very, very different. But compared to London,
in London, I saw a house in my area that was a nice house. I was like, well, that's nice. It was on sale, and it was £700,000.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a mansion. It was just like a normal, nice 3-bedroom house with a driveway, and it was 700 grand. That was about 2 years ago. I checked that.
Yeah, Dubai again is just it's hard to give you a thing because like, it depends on the community, it depends on a lot of different things. But generally speaking, you're looking at like 60% of a price of a house in London.
Fine.
You know what I mean? If you, maybe even less in some parts.
Maybe £300,000. You can buy a really nice house.
Right now the prices are high, but
Okay.
yeah, it depends on exactly when you buy it. But yeah, I'd say like for a 3-bedroom house, you can get it here for like between 3 and 4 easily,
fine.
and maybe even between 3 and 350,
Okay,
and it'll be nice.
that's good to know.
Yeah.
Car. So car here, there's 2 ways of doing it. If you're here short term, you can rent. There's loads of options to rent cars here. Like, it's like the norm to like do long term rentals. I'm currently renting a car, and renting a car can be quite expensive. I'm not gonna lie, it's like one of my big expenditures. So I'm renting a car, and I decided when I came out here to initially just rent like an affordable car. So I'm driving the Yaris, and it costs me. Actually, bro, I recently checked, and actually they just took payment today. It's like £500 a month.
Yeah, it's a lot, man.
Yeah, renting a car, I'm not gonna lie, is quite expensive. But buying a car, if you buy it like second hand, is a lot more affordable than UK.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this, because I was looking at cars yesterday to buy it. Yeah? I'm not gonna get this, but I was just looking because I always like to dream in cars. One of my dream cars is called Porsche Panamera.
Okay.
Bro, so you can get Porsche Panamera here, second hand, of course. Really nice, like spec, £20,000.
Really?
That's really good, isn't it?
That is good, man. Again, the prices, the whole global used car market, prices are up in general, and I think it's the same for Dubai. So I think like,
Would you buy a Porsche Panamera for 20 grand?
bro, that's tempting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so tempting.
That is
isn't
tempting.
it?
I mean, yeah, that is tempting considering what I just got, which is not a Porsche Panamera. But yeah, as I was gonna say, prices are up right now. Prices for rent in Dubai is up. House prices are up. Car prices are up. So a year ago, you may have got that Porsche, and again, the pound is down. So if you're talking pounds, like a year ago, you could have put that Porsche for probably like 15.
Wow.
Yeah, I imagine. And maybe in a year's time, that could also be similar, depending on the pound and stuff. Talking in pounds is difficult now. But yeah, the price is definitely up for things because of like global events.
Yeah, fine. So renting a car can be pricey, but I think when you take into consideration with like the fact that you don't pay tax, and generally jobs here are higher paid.
And also, if we should mention, there's no such thing as road tax.
Yeah.
UK has road tax, no road tax here. You do have to sort of do the MOT every year, which is around the same price as UK, I think, when you do that. RTA thingamajig. And car insurance.
And loads of places are free to park.
Yeah,
That's
it's free to parking, and
all the malls are basically free
all the malls are
parking.
free parking, and even the places that aren't free to park is cheap to park.
Petrol's cheaper.
Petrol cheap, but it's like 3 dirhams an hour or something to park, which is like 50p an hour or something like that. Even like nice places. And car insurance, I'm about to pay my car insurance. I pay my car insurance for the year, 700 dirhams for the year.
Okay.
To give you context for those who don't know what that is, even again, pound not great. That's 169 pounds a year. Some people pay that a month. Some people pay like £200 a month for their insurance in London.
Fine. All right, so that should go
over.
That should go over like a lot of the like rent,
Yeah.
like house and car renting and buying
Yes.
prices.
Yep.
So let's move on
Swiftly.
We are going to have to do a number 2.
Yeah, this is getting too deep.
Okay. So, sorry about that. So,
Those aren't the questions.
plug this.
Hit me with a question.
Okay. So then there is how does cost of accommodation.
There's a lot of questions, man.
Yeah. How much money do you have to make to live comfortably in Dubai? That's a good question.
That is a great question, and the answer is it's not straightforward, because again, how do you want to live? Like, you want to be frugal? Are you trying to like eat out every day? It's a tough one.
I feel like you have to be on good money.
You have to be on good money, but also I want to reiterate the fact that you don't have to be to survive here. Again, London is, like I said, London, the cost of living is very narrow. Like, if you dip below, like, you're homeless. But here it's like, you know, there's a lot of scope here where you can like eat quite, you know, you can eat for a very small amount of money if you wanted to. You can rent for a very small amount of money. it just depends on a lot of different things.
Do you know what we'll do, bro? Because we've only got 10 minutes, let's just have this episode as like costs of living in Dubai.
Fine.
And then we can people can request like other things. So let's carry on with that topic. So
Fine.
The really quick answer. Someone said, how does it work for getting a visa for your spouse or children? What's the process? So the same agent that you would use two ways. If you're employed, your employer will deal with that. If you're employing yourself, the agent that you're using, they'll deal with that. You just tell them, okay, I want to sponsor. So first you get yours, so you sort yourself out. So the process is like this. Let's say if you're running your own business. You come, from where you are, so from the UK, your agent who is in Dubai can sort out most of the stuff and get to the point where your business is registered and your visa is applied for and you even get your e-visa. Then you have to physically come here to do a medical, and that's where they check I think they check you for HIV, and they do like a X-ray or something and a blood test, and then you get you have to be here physically for that. Once you get your results for that, which takes like 24 hours, you have to also be here to do your fingerprints, and that's about a month later generally, but you can get like faster appointments. I think it depends on like the time of year.
Quicker than a month, yeah.
Well, at the time I was doing it was a month.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and
okay.
I've probably did it recently here, took about a month.
Oh,
but
really?
I think it depends. Like it's like how long is a piece of string? It's dependent upon, I think, loads of different factors, like how busy they are and stuff like that. But you can say about a month, and you have to physically be here for that too. You can fly out and fly back in, but you might as well just stay here for a month because it's lovely. Why would you not want to stay in Dubai for a month?
Yeah.
But you have to physically be here for that. So the whole process, by the way, in terms of time, I applied for my visa, I think like December or January, and then I came out, I think by the end of Jan or mid-Feb, I got everything done, and then within 60 days, you have to come, or you getting that visa, you have to come to Dubai and do your medical. So I came in March to do the medical, and then I had my appointment, I think like the same month or something, for my fingerprint. Once you got your fingerprint, that's it. You just wait for Emirates ID. Once your Emirates ID is there, then you can start sponsoring your spouse and your children.
And Emirates ID is key because that allows you to get Wi-Fi, get a local phone, rent places out. That's
rent
like
a car, everything.
Yeah, getting Emirates ID is like, that everyone asks for that. Whatever you're doing, I want your Emirates ID to register that for you.
And you get Emirates ID. Your children, no matter how old they will get Emirates IDs. Your wife will get Emirates ID, and also as a sorry, what was I going to say? You should carry Emirates ID everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And also driver's license. When you come out here, you can rent a car on your UK license if you're a tourist. But as soon as you get your Emirates ID, you have to convert your UK license to a UAE license.
Yeah.
And that costs about 50 quid.
Yeah, something like that.
I can't remember now.
You do to
I have to go sort that for my wife now.
Yeah, all it is, you do an eye test. You don't have to actually physically do a test. You do an eye test, make sure your eyes can see, and then you pay the fee and they transfer it. And
you can either go to an optician or you can just do it at the same place. So I did it at the same place.
Yeah.
I went to RTA, which is the Royal Transport...
Roads and Transport Authority.
Fine, Roads and Transport Authority. You go there and you're like, hey, I want to convert my license from a UK license to Dubai license. They're like, all right, cool. Have you done an eye test? I was like, no. They're like, okay, just go around the corner. There's an eye test centre there. Yeah. Go in there, walk in. Hey, I want to get my eye test. Pay like 20 quid or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Do my eye test. Walk back around the corner. I'm like, hey, done my eye test now. Here's my license. They're like, cool, take a seat. 5 minutes later, called me up. Took my details, gave me my new license. And
another thing, just to mention, because you're on it, like government services here are fantastic, like very quick.
Yeah. So, services are very
services
quick.
Are great. The service centers. I went and opened the traffic file here because I went to I'm trying to buy a car in Dubai with Dubai plate, and I was like, oh, you got to go and open a traffic file in Dubai because my visa's in Fujairah. I was thinking, oh, it's gonna take long. I was in that like 20 minutes.
Yeah, sick. And we haven't gone into it, but like even like I recently had to take my son to the hospital, both my sons on 2 separate days. We went to a hospital called Al Jalil Hospital, which is a government children's hospital, and it was phenomenal. Like first of all, it's so clean. It's like a mall. They've got like Toys R Us in there and stuff. And secondly, like they have you seen it?
I don't think I know.
It's like a mall, right?
I didn't see the Toys R Us.
And the doctors are amazing. So the same doctor, she saw Zakaria. She ended up being the one who saw Khalil. She's like, oh, didn't I see you recently? I was like, oh yeah, was that you? And along Badik, like they give you salams, inshallah, like it's so amazing, and they take a lot of care, and it's just amazing. Like the process was all good, and like regardless of whether you have insurance or not, they're also like very generous. So like when I went in there with Khalil, like I didn't even have to do any of that process. They just like, no, we like we put it through as an emergency. No cost.
Yeah.
And so like that's quite regular as well. Like I wouldn't rely on it. Like but I'm saying like there's really nice processes like that here. And we can dive into that kind of stuff in another episode.
that's different maybe.
So more on costs. Okay, fine. Somebody asked about like maids and all that kind of stuff. So like, do you use cleaner?
I don't. We do use cleaners every
Okay.
now and again, but I don't have a maid. Like
We used a babysitter recently, so
Okay.
maybe I can go into that.
Go on.
Okay, so generally speaking, labour here is cheaper. So if you want to get stuff done around the house, like we spoke about on episodes loads of times, especially grounded, like you don't really need to build anything here because it's like, even though I did build some stuff there, this set, for example, like where in London on TaskRabbit, I don't have context how much things cost on TaskRabbit, but
It's not cheap. I remember I got an IKEA thing built in London maybe like 3 months before we came out here, so 2019. I think I paid a guy like 80 quid to build like an IKEA cupboard.
yeah, it wouldn't cost that much. I think it's like per hour. It could be like you get like maybe if you go for like a service that's like a branded service and stuff, you could pay like £20 an hour.
I think
you could get cheaper.
But I think IKEA, for example, here at IKEA, I think their delivery and setup fee to build it for you is like 125 dirham. So it's like, what's that, 25 quid,
Yeah,
25, 30 quid.
Fine.
So that includes delivery and building, I think.
Fine.
Don't quote me on that.
So if you go for like a higher end like building service, which is what I used, it's like £20 an hour. Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
No, but so when you don't know, you just kind of like Google it.
Yeah.
But if you know people, like you get it way cheaper. But and that's how you kind of end up getting to know people. Like, oh, hey, do you do this like privately? And they'll be like, yeah, whatever. So anyway, £20 an hour. And there's like a team of 4 or 5 brothers that come in, and they'll just, so when you say an hour, you think, oh, one man, £20 an hour, that might be expensive. No, £20 an hour, you get like 4 guys, 2 of them are putting your curtains up in this room, like 3 of them are building something downstairs, like they're efficient. Like,
these men are constructing.
Yeah. So, but that's, so, okay, so maids. So we recently tried a babysitter, and she charged 40 dirhams for an hour. So it seemed a bit expensive,
a little bit pricey.
Yeah, it was, isn't it?
All right. What kind of?
But then I was thinking that they do look after your kids, so it's not. So the cleaners and stuff are a lot cheaper.
For context, again, 40. I used to be able to just
like
do
£10
this.
an hour.
Yeah, maybe it's
£9 each.
£9.70, £9.69.
Yeah. So that was quite expensive, I think.
Yeah, that is. But again, I've never used a babysitter. Cleaner, if you want to get a cleaner in to like do some just like mopping and ironing, they're a lot cheaper than that.
Yeah,
so
like £5 an hour.
Yeah, more like £5 an hour. But yeah, I would imagine that babysitter would be a bit more expensive, to be fair.
Yeah, but the thing for us was that the kids were sleeping. So it's like you're paying a premium because they're like feeding your children and stuff.
Yeah.
But she had to sit on my sofa.
Yeah, counting her money.
Well, we had to go out, so we thought we'd try it.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody said we've got 4 minutes. Somebody said kids. Actually, we got about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because Salah is at 6:04, right?
Yes.
Okay. Somebody said kids' school situation. This is a good question. So Kaya and I, both of us do have our children in nurseries. Our children actually go to the same nursery, and but that's nursery. So I don't know school pricing right now.
Yeah.
But I know nursery pricing.
You can find that online, and again it depends. Again, it's a scope. You can send the kids into quite cheap schools, and you get what you pay for. But there are cheap schools, and there's some schools that charge like I don't know, a lot of money a year. So there's a scope there.
Yeah, it's a scope.
There's a scope, and that's the best I can say to you. There's a scope. I think if you're looking at like the kind of school that will give you the same, if not better, than UK like schools, and we can talk about difference in that just in general, like Islamically as well. Maybe £5,000 a year would be the sort of the average, and then you can go up and down from there.
Okay, so there's a school. So our children go to a like Muslim nursery. I'll actually tell the story because we've pretty much gone over all the questions. So
Got it.
Where should I start? So basically, there's loads of nurseries here. Kaya, both our children are the same age. There's like 1 month. They're like 1 month apart in age, and so both of us end up needing to send our kids to nursery at the same time. So I was looking at a nursery in my area, and Kaya was looking at this nursery that was like a bit far, but it was a Muslim nursery. And I was like to Kaya, bro, like what? That's so far, and it's just nursery. And then, so I wasn't thinking about sending my kid there because it would have been like a half an hour drive. And then I was just gonna send him to like a local nursery here. I thought it's a nursery, does the same kind of thing. It's just nursery. And then one brother basically said to me, he was like, he basically said to me, bro, like, it's worth checking it out. So I checked it out. That's a long story short. I checked it out and it was amazing. And they teach kids, and it's just a nursery. They teach them everything. They teach according to Quran and Sunnah mostly. They teach them ahadith. They teach them du'as. They teach them adhkar. All of the staff are Muslim in the nursery.
And and female.
And female.
Yeah.
They all wear hijab and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, you know,
apart from some of the there's like assistants, isn't there?
Yeah, but even they, but they're not wearing hijab, but they're still women and stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you don't have to worry about anything like that. But yeah, I mean, sometimes my daughter comes home and she's talking to me about Allah, you know, because she's learned something about Allah. So
it's really amazing.
That's just amazing, man. And I know they're learning du'as and stuff like that, learning what to say. They're saying Bismillah before they eat. This kind of stuff. And when you compare it to what is being taught in the UK, alhamdulillah, all we can say is alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
And just to make a point though, I say this is like an Islamic nursery here, but like even the sort of quote unquote the ones that don't brand themselves like that, there's still like a flaw.
Here,
there's a rules there. There's still a flaw to what they can teach your kids anyway.
You have to respect the culture of the country.
Absolutely. So they will not be teaching things that we would not want our kids to be taught.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, they may not be teaching them du'as and stuff like that in those other nurseries, but they won't be teaching them other stuff.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Okay, let's end the podcast here and say that we probably, if you guys want a part 2 or want to go into other details, let us know. I don't think this was as structured as I wanted it to be, but we just ended up just speaking about our own things, and that, I suppose like
it was cost of living, man. We went with cost of living. I think we went through like point by point cost of living. And I think if someone's got a notepad out, they would have got like some good insights from this actually.
Fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
So get your notepads out.
Yeah. Now we're taking it at the end.
Yeah.
The first
yeah.
Let's do an intro so we give some context.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, guys. So this was the episode. Thanks so much. Let us know if you want part 2, and we can go into more detail in some other aspects of living out here. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.